What if a 15-year-old could flip world football on its head? Meet Lamine Yamal. Hi, I'm Leah, and I'm super excited to dive into today's topic.
And I'm Garrett, feeling pretty curious today. Welcome to Laid Back Learning with Leah and Garrett. All right, let's set the stage for this one. We're talking about Lamine Yamal, a Spanish football prodigy lighting it up for Barcelona and Spain. Records, trophies, and some seriously grown-up decision-making on the ball.
Picture this. I'm at a local youth match last year, right by the touchline, and there's this tiny winger, maybe 12. He keeps gliding inside on his left foot, head up, slipping passes that split the defense like it's nothing. And I remember thinking, this is what it must have felt like to spot Lamine before the world knew his name. Raw joy, quick feet, and that calm. It made me believe a kid really can change the whole tempo of a game.
That's pretty cool, right? There's a special kind of silence when a young player makes a smart choice, not just a flashy one. With Yamal, you get both, the highlight and the right read. Let's dig into this.
Basic intro time. Lamine Yamal Nasraoui, Abana is a Spanish winger for FC Barcelona and Spain. He broke into Barca's first team at 15, which is wild, and by 16 he was already impacting games for Spain. Think of him like a young Mozart with a football. The pitch is his staff paper, and his left foot writes the notes.
And to ground the basics, Barcelona's academy is called La Masia. That's the youth system that molded legends like Messi and Iniesta. When someone rockets from La Masia to the first team at 15, that's a neon sign that the kid is different. Also, he's mainly a right winger, but left-footed, so he cuts inside to shoot or pass. That's called an inverted winger.
He didn't just debut young. He started stacking milestones. Youngest Spain player and goal scorer at 16 years and 57 days. Youngest player and youngest assist maker at the European Championship, the Euros. And he helped Spain win Euro 2024. That leap from promise to delivery happened fast.
Let's rewind to the beginning of the story. He was born in 2007 in the Barcelona area to a Moroccan father and an Equatorial Guinean mother. He identifies as a Spanish Muslim. That multicultural background matters because he was eligible for multiple national teams, but his path through Spain's youth sides and La Masia pointed him to Spain's senior team at 16.
He grew up in Rocafonda in Mataró, a working-class neighborhood that's often been stigmatized. He turned that into pride. His celebration is a hand sign for 304, the last digits of the local postcode 08304. It's more than a quirk. It's a way of saying, my story started here, and I'm taking you with me.
He started at a local club called La Torreta at age 4. Then Barcelona scouted him at 6 and brought him into La Masia in 2014. That early jump meant elite coaching, daily touches, and a super high level of competition. It's like getting a graduate seminar in decision-making when everyone else is still in elementary school ball.
By September 2022, he was training with Barcelona's first team under Xavi, a Barcelona great turned coach. He hadn't even signed a pro deal yet. Why put a teenager in with the grown-ups that early?
Because the staff saw he could handle the speed and the reads. Training with senior internationals accelerates your brain. You learn when to release, when to dribble, who to find at the back post. It's risk, sure, but the payoff is you get a 16-year-old who already thinks like a veteran.
Then, in April 2023, he debuted in La Liga at 15, youngest Barca first-team player since 1922. He looked fearless. A shot on target, clean touches. That set the tone for the avalanche of records that followed.
Middle chapter. Euro 2024 is where he went from prospect to problem for every defense. He became the youngest player at the Euros, delivered an assist against Croatia with a classic far post ball, and kept racking up final third impact. He finished as joint top assist provider with 4.
And that semifinal goal versus France, he curled it in from outside the box just before turning 17, youngest scorer in Euros history, and it was later named Goal of the Tournament. That's not a novelty goal, that's a defining moment in a heavyweight match.
Style-wise, people mention Lionel Messi and Neymar. Messi for the left-footed creativity from the right, Neymar for the feints and flair. For anyone new, Messi is arguably the greatest playmaker scorer ever, and Neymar is a Brazilian superstar known for dribbling and audacity. Yamal's not a copy, though. He crosses earlier and more often than Messi did at that age, and he blends risk with pretty structured decision-making.
Technical note, one of his trademarks is the trivela. That's when you hit the ball with the outside of your foot to bend it in an unexpected curve. He loves the outswinger to the far post, disguising the angle so defenders misread it. That's how he found Dani Carvajal, the Spain and Real Madrid right back, at the Euros.
His club form didn't dip either. He became the youngest El Clásico scorer at the Bernabeu. El Clásico is Barcelona versus Real Madrid, Spain's biggest rivalry. But that same day, he faced racist abuse from a group of home fans, which is awful. He's also spoken out against anti-Muslim and xenophobic chants at a Spain friendly later on, calling them intolerable. That's a teenager stepping into a very adult space with clarity.
He had a goal-scoring drought in late 2024 into early 2025, and some critics piled on. Francesco Totti, the Roma legend, said he scored few goals, but Hansi Flick, Barcelona's coach then, defended him by pointing to chance creation, process over just finishing. And honestly, the data agreed. He kept generating high-quality chances during that stretch.
Final arc of the fact run. In 2025, he hit his 100th Barcelona appearance before turning 18 and scored in a Champions League semi-final versus Inter Milan. Simone Inzaghi, Inter's coach, called him a phenomenon born every 50 years. That's not casual praise.
He helped Barcelona win a domestic treble in 2024-25, La Liga, the Copa del Rey, and the Supercopa de España in one season. Then he was given Barcelona's number 10 shirt in July 2025. For anyone new, the number 10 at Barca is sacred ground. Think legends. Handing it to an 18-year-old says, "You are a pillar now."
His contract also reflected that status, a long-term deal through 2031, reported by The Athletic as potentially worth over $45 million a year in gross terms. There was already a €1 billion buyout clause earlier. A buyout clause is a release price in a contract, usually set sky-high to deter poaching.
Off the field, he waved a Palestinian flag during Barcelona's 2026 title parade, which drew praise from Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez and criticism from Israel's defense minister, Israel Katz. Misbar, a fact-checking group, later reported he was targeted by an online disinformation campaign. And then he became a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador, focusing on children's right to play and kids in crises. That's a big platform used for humanitarian themes.
He did hit adversity. In April 2026, he tore a hamstring, taking a penalty, and missed the rest of the season. Despite that setback, he ended that year as La Liga's Player of the Season and then scored at the 2026 World Cup, becoming just the second player aged 18 or younger since Pelé to score the opening goal of a World Cup match.
By the end of 2025-26, his footprint was huge for his age. 151 first-team games for Barcelona, with 49 goals, plus 27 caps and 7 goals for Spain. Add the awards, 2 Copa trophies, which is the best under-21 player by France Football, the Golden Boy Award in 2024, and runner-up for the 2025 Ballon d'Or at just 18. That's historic territory.
Here's a spicy but fair question. Is he the best teenage footballer ever?
Real talk, I think the case is strong. At 16, he was deciding knockout games at the Euros and leading the tournament in assists. At 17 and 18, he was a first-choice creator for Barcelona and Spain. The awards back it up: 2 Copa wins, Golden Boy, Ballon d'Or second place at 18. And it's not just flair, it's decision quality under pressure.
I hear that. My hesitation is the cross-era math. Steven Gerrard, who's an England legend, pointed to Michael Owen. For anyone new, Owen was a teenage phenomenon in the late 1990s. He scored at a World Cup at 18, won the Ballon d'Or at 21, and had ridiculous pace and end product. Different era, different tactics, fewer analytics. So which metric do we value more?
If we care about difficulty of tournaments, Yamal's Euro 2024 run is elite, youngest everything, plus the semi-final goal against France. And he wasn't just a passenger in the final either. He assisted Nico Williams, Spain's electric winger, in the biggest game. Also his Champions League semifinal goal at 17. That's rare air.
Counterpoint, Owen's teenage output was brutally direct. Goals at the World Cup, early Premier League dominance, and a Ballon d'Or podium very fast. Yamal's profile is more of a creator-scorer hybrid. If you're judging pure scoring impact at teen ages, Owen might still edge it. If you weigh all-around creation and tournament records, Yamal has the edge. So it's a tie by category, maybe.
Why do you think creation should be separated from scoring like that? In modern football, expected assists and space creation are as valuable as raw goals. Hansi Flick highlighted that when people nitpicked Lamine's drought, the team still scored because he kept bending the defense out of shape.
Fair. The modern lens values the whole possession chain. If I adjust for that, I lean toward Yamal. Also, the pressure on a 16-year-old in the social media era is another multiplier. Performing through that is its own feat. I guess I'm landing at best teenage playmaker creator ever is a strong claim. Overall best teenage footballer, he's on the very short list with Owen, Mbappe, and a few others.
Cultural thread. That number 10 shirt at Barcelona comes with a storybook lineage. When he put it on at 18 and then scored in the league opener, it felt like a passing of the torch moment. It means leadership as much as style. You're expected to be the brain and the spark.
And pop culture finds him too. There was that brief relationship with the Argentine singer Nicki Nicole. That kind of crossover pulls new audiences into football highlight reels. But the lasting symbol is still his 3-on-4 celebration. It turned Rocafonda into a badge of honor on the biggest stages.
What if he hadn't been scouted by Barcelona at 6? Let's say he stays longer at La Torreta or moves to a different local academy.
I could get behind that idea. The ceiling doesn't change, but the timeline does. Without La Masia's daily tactical reps, he probably learns the same reads through more minutes in smaller games instead of training against world-class teammates. Maybe his first big club is a stepping stone, like Real Sociedad or Villarreal, and then a giant calls it 20.
And the national team picture shifts. Without Barca's spotlight, maybe Spain waits a bit longer to bring him in. No Euro 2024 records at 16, but if the talent is the talent, he still arrives, just different beats to the same song.
There's also the butterfly effect on identity. Without the quick rise, does the 304 celebration become global so fast? Maybe not. Yet I think he still champions Rocafonda. That's wired in. The platform would just ramp up later. So yeah, delayed stardom, eventual breakthrough. The story changes tempo, not melody.
Thanks for joining us on this journey.
Stay curious and catch you next time on Laid Back Learning.